Well, welcome to everyone. We're so glad you decided to join us either live or on our recording to learn about this fabulous cruise to Bordeaux. We are Suzanne and Steve. If you could say hello.
Hello, how are we doing?
That's my husband, Steve Klasen. We are the owners of CruiseOne in Shoalo, Arizona. So the reason we're having this webinar is we want to get the word out. This is our last chance to book our extremely reduced group rates. We locked these rates in months ago when we took out our contract, and they're going to, a year ago, and they are going to expire on May 4th. So these are huge savings. If you compare our rates to the current Avalon direct rates, we have savings of $3,398 per person in the Category P cabins. So it is a huge savings. We'll go over the pricing later, but it's definitely worth taking a look at joining our group rather than trying to book on your own if you are interested in visiting Bordeaux. So we're going to go really through what our agenda is. We're going to talk about what our travel agency is all about. We're going to talk about Avalon Waterways. We're going to talk about the wonderful itinerary, which is Bordeaux, not the Rhine and Lake Como. I'm sorry, I copied the slide from another one, didn't change it, but let's get going. Okay, so just to tell you a little bit about Steve and I, we have owned our agency for coming up on 13 years. We get a lot of our business from repeats and referrals because we provide highly personalized service to all of our clients. We are there to hold your hand for every step of the way. And the best part about it is that you don't pay any extra for all that service. That just comes as part of what we do for our clients because we want to make sure that every aspect of your vacation is exceeding your expectations. We do a lot of groups and we do a lot of travel ourselves. And the reason I mention that is the travel ourselves, we use all that experience to make sure that when our clients then go to that destination, that we're giving them insider tips and all the inside advice, that we're taking care of all the arrangements. We know exactly what to do in every destination so that our clients get an exceptional experience. When we travel, we consider it not just an investment in ourselves, but in our business and in you, our clients, so that we can deliver extraordinary vacations. We do all kinds of groups. We do friends and family groups. We do a lot of wine groups. We love sailing with our groups. And our priority when we're going along on a group cruise is to ensure that every moment exceeds your expectations and that you're having unforgettable memories when you're going on a cruise. I am an Avalon Waterways certified specialist, and also with their other two brands, which is Globus and Cosmos. Quality partners equals a quality experience. And when we look to do our group cruises anywhere in the world, we look to partner with a quality cruise company. And Avalon delivers in every aspect. They won the 2022 USA Today Reader's Choice Award. And on Cruise Critic, they are consistently ranked as one of the highest, or as the highest river cruise company. So you heard of Avalon Waterways, which is one of the reasons that we partnered with them, because it's such an extraordinary product that we want to get the word out to our clients that they will really enjoy this type of cruise. Now, Avalon has a lot of inclusions, and I'm just going to go over these really quickly, but of course, all your meals are included. Beer and wine with your breakfast, lunch, and dinner is included. They also have a happy hour every day. And after dinner, when you're finishing up your meal, they'll top off your glass of wine, and that can then go be your nightcap as you're getting ready to wind down for the day. They have the largest standard accommodations in the river cruise industry, and they just provide a wonderful experience. But don't take my word for it. I'm going to have Graham McTavish tell you a little bit about Avalon Waterways.
There may be comfort in the usual, but true discovery and remarkable experiences are the rewards for the curious. They are the gifts that reside beyond the ordinary. Welcome aboard Avalon. Smaller ships, bigger experiences, fewer people, more of everything, right at your fingertips. And you wake up in the best staterooms in the business, to a new port every day, right in the heart of great cities, with nothing but possibilities ahead. Driven by out-of-the-box thinking and a relentless pursuit of better, Avalon heard the siren song to elevate cruising, and they have. So if you believe that life is worth living, not looking, memories are worth making, that better stories need better settings, and that we could all use a little different, you're ready for an Avalon cruise. Cruising Elevated.
I love watching that video because there's so many beautiful places that we have visited with Avalon Waterways in that video that I can recognize. But today we are here to talk about Bordeaux. And the name of this cruise is Bonjour Bordeaux. It's the Chateaux, Wineries, and Charming Villages. And it is an active and discovery cruise, which means that there is a little bit of extra attention to having those active and discovery experiences. And I'll talk a little bit about that. Now, I'm going to run you through this really quickly, but what I want you to see here is these are the two rivers that we will be sailing on. And you can see they go right through the heart of all the different areas of Bordeaux. And if you've seen so many different bottles of Bordeaux, they're all going to have the names of these wonderful regions. And I want to talk to you about how Bordeaux became such a renowned wine region. I mean, it's really, when you think of great quality, especially red wines, Bordeaux is going to be one of the ones that comes to the top of your list. So Bordeaux had political connections. Eleanor of Aquitaine was married to Henry Plantagenet, the King of England. And so that brought a lot of trade between this region of France and between England. There's also a Dutch influence. If you think about what are the Dutch better at than anything, it's drying out marshy land, right? And so that's the area that then became the prime wine planting regions in the Bordeaux area. And the 1855 classifications where they went through and rated all the wineries and gave them a classification and very high status and high standards that had to be lived up to. So again, here is a map, and I'm not going to go through all the details of what all these different regions are and what happens in each one. You're going to learn all that on the cruise because this is where we're going. It's going to be our experience when we're there. There are 5 noble grapes of Bordeaux, and we certainly see them growing in other regions of the world. But the ones that Bordeaux is most known for is the Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot, and Malbec. And there's a 6th that's sometimes used, it's Carmenere. And we sometimes see these grapes being grown in different regions of the world. But in Bordeaux, they grow all of these different types of grapes so that every year they can create a great blend, no matter what the harvest and the weather conditions are. There are also a lot of great white wines that come from Bordeaux: Semillon, Sauvignon Blanc, and Muscadel. And typically those are going to be blended as well. Here is the region, again, it's called the Right Bank, Pomerol and Saint Emilion. Very quickly going to go through that. We are going to learn more and more about this. But again, these are made known for their wonderful production of wines. As a matter of fact, Steve and I have one of our favorite wines to buy on board cruise ships is Chateaux, which is in Saint Emilion. And then there's the area known as Entrées de Mer, and you can see that's circled in this map. And that is known as between the 2 seas, but it's actually between 2 rivers. They produce both white and red in this area. They tend to produce more red because red gets a little bit higher price and it's a little bit more in demand. And then, of course, you have the left bank. You have the Medoc, the Hot Medoc, and the Margaux. Again, left bank wineries, they're situated on that left bank of the Garonne River, and they surround the city of Bordeaux. So it's an interesting area. And there's south left bank, and that is actually where the city of Bordeaux is located. And you get your Graves and Sauternes, which are known for their dessert wines. And I had, as a matter of fact, if you look at the picture of me behind me in my little box, that is actually in a winery in Sauternes, and we're trying their wonderful sweet dessert wines. Very high quality wines from these regions. And again, this is why we're going, because we're going to experience all of these wines and taste wines from these different parts of Bordeaux, compare and contrast, as well as see the beautiful chateaux and UNESCO World Heritage Site and historic areas of that area. Everything from castles to palaces, chateaux, a little bit of everything to see and experience as you're drinking the wine as you're going in this area. So we're going to get a little bit started on the details of our specific itinerary. It is round trip Bordeaux. So we start and end in the city of Bordeaux, and it's a little bit of up and back. You go up this river to Cadillac, you go up the Garonne River to Le Borgne and Saint Emilion. So it's a little bit of both. And there's several times where we'll actually dock in the city of Bordeaux overnight. So it's a little bit of going back and forth. Which is really nice because it gives you a chance to maybe even get off the ship and explore the town of Bordeaux one night while you're there. It is the capital of the Nouvelle Aquitaine region. And again, of course, we know it's renowned for its vineyards and wines. So one of the first places we're going to visit is Cadillac and Sauternes. And the town of Cadillac has some beautiful old buildings that we're going to be able to see. It is the birthplace of philosophers. There's a fortress-style castle, and there's an impressive moat in this area. And then that's the classic excursion where you're going to go see these things. And then there's also a discovery excursion where you're going to get a guided visit to a winery. You're going to sip some of this wonderful Sauternes wine, and which is I know people who don't like sweet wines who like Sauternes, and my husband would probably be one of them. He doesn't drink sweet wines, but for dessert, like on a cruise, they have Sauternes. We really enjoy that. So, and then in the evening, we'll go back to our sweet ship, which I'll show you a little bit about what that means, and there'll be some live entertainment on board. So our next day, we're going to be in the Medoc area. And so you can either take a bicycle ride through the vineyards. So for those of you who want to stay fit and get some exercise and enjoy the beautiful scenery and the outdoors, that is a great experience. Or you can also visit a historic chateau and sample some of the Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot wines in this region. And in some cases, you might be able to do both the active excursion, like the bicycle ride, and the wine tasting. So you have to look and see what the schedule is, but many places, Avalon sets it up so that you can enjoy both experiences. And then the next day, we're going to be in Blaye and Bourg. So we'll probably have two different stops this day. We'll visit this historic citadel. And by the way, these pictures that you see here, and as many as I could put in here as possible, were pictures that I took 5 years ago when I visited Bordeaux. Or no, it was more than 5, it was 7 years ago. My goodness. So there's a classic excursion that takes you to the Citadel, or you can do the Discovery excursion, which is going to see Blaye from a different perspective. It's going to visit a local art gallery and do some wine tasting. And then in the afternoon that day, we'll get back on the ship and sail up the river. And then we'll have some free time to explore the historic village of Bourg. And there's also an excursion to learn about the fine champagne of Cognac. And we'll also enjoy a Remy Martin tasting. So live entertainment aboard the ship that night. So a little bit of everything on an Avalon water cruise. But this is the one I'm so excited, is that we will visit Saint Emilion. And I believe Saint Emilion, from Bourg, if you keep walking, you go for a walk through town, you get to Pomerol. And then if you kept going down the road, you're going to get to Saint Emilion. So Saint Emilion is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was actually the home of a pilgrimage church during the Middle Ages. And we're going to get a chance to see some of the landscapes there and taste some of the wonderful wine. And free time in Saint Emilion is such a wonderful thing to do because a lot of the local vineyards will just come into town and offer tastings in a tasting room, which is kind of like a city hall tasting room. So it's wonderful. And then we're going to sail back to Bordeaux and dock in Bordeaux overnight that night. Now, that will allow us that next day to have a tour of the beautiful city of Bordeaux. It is like a little mini Paris. I guess that would be the best way to describe it. Beautiful French architecture, cathedrals, historic buildings, historic gates to the city, artwork and statues everywhere. It is a wonderful place to visit. So our classic excursion is going to be a guided walking tour where we're going to see the squares. And then and that afternoon, you could do an optional tour, and this would be at an extra charge. There is let me see if I can say it because it's French, Les Bassins des Luminaires. And it is a submarine base where they have one of those art and music light shows. So that's an optional tour. It is an extra cost. Or maybe use that night to maybe go out on the town in Bordeaux or go to a little tasting room there and try some wines and then come back to the ship and enjoy your dinner. With a docking overnight, you're free to come and go as you want. And Bordeaux is a very safe city. I felt very safe walking around there. Last time I went with a group of ladies and was not worried about walking around town at night. So then that next day, we get to go. It's seas and shells and sips is what they call this day. And our active excursion is you can do with the adventure host, and you can do a bike ride along Bordeaux, the river, and it's pretty extensive bike ride and see lots of different. But their classic excursion, and this is a full day. You go out of town to Arcachon. And this is a very interesting place because during the 19th century, they learned how to do sustainable oyster farming there. Because in the 19th century, everybody was gobbling up the oysters and there was a chance of them going extinct. So we went to the Oyster Museum when we were there before. And this, of course, is included with the tour that you take with Avalon. You get to see how they do sustainable oysters, and they take you to an oyster house and you get to try oysters. I don't eat oysters. So I always joke about this picture of me right here. This is me not eating oysters in Bordeaux. I sipped wine and gave my oysters to the other people that enjoy them. So even if you don't like oysters, this is certainly a lovely day in Arcachon, and I would recommend it to anybody. So that's where we're going, and that's what we're going to do. That's the itinerary. It's about all of those experiences of that region, the wine tasting, the bike riding, the chateaus, the historic buildings. But it's just as important not only what you're going to see, but how you're going to see it. And I have to tell you, the Avalon ships make all the difference. So if you think about it, if you look at most river ships, they pretty much look alike because they all have to fit within the same locks, and then they have to go under the same bridges. So they can't be super big or wide, especially in certain areas. So the thing is that it is the ship company that can make all the difference in choosing how to use that space because they basically have the same footprint. And I think Avalon has come up with the most ingenious solution. And so now I'm going to show you a video that is about the Avalon suite ships. And I alluded to that earlier, the suite ships of Avalon.
The suite ships of Avalon, designed from the ground up with an attention to detail river cruising has never seen before. There's nothing quite like river cruising no matter who you cruise with, but there are some pretty big differences between companies, starting with how they look at staterooms. And our one-of-a-kind panorama suite is proof of our innovation, our imagination, and our desire to create a smarter use of space. To give you some perspective of how much better our staterooms are, we're comparing them to the average river cruise cabin. Here's the average window, roughly 7 feet wide, with an opening under 4 feet. Here's our window, nearly 11 feet wide, floor to ceiling, wall to wall. And when it opens, it really opens, wide enough to let the outside in, because the opening is a full 7 feet, almost twice the size of the others. It's the largest standard window in river cruising. Now, let's take a look at the bed of the average cabin. It faces the wall, not much to look at there. We had a much better idea. What if we angled the wall and turned the bed? That little change gives you the perfect perspective of the amazing views out your window. We then turned our attention to the balcony. Here's the average river cruise balcony. Seems like a nice idea, But as far as we can tell, there's not a lot of room for people to enjoy the views out there. And they had to take space from your stateroom to create that small deck space outside. So here's our better idea. Reclaim that space, push the window out, add a spacious dining and seating area for up to 6 adults, combine it with the largest sliding glass door in the business, and voila, you have an open-air balcony, the only one of its kind in river cruising, and you can enjoy it day and night, no matter the weather. Plus, you'll enjoy a lot more livable space, a full 200 square feet. We gave our room an attention to detail unmatched in the industry. We offer comfort collection beds, plenty of easily accessible storage, and we even added sound dampening insulation in our walls to make it less likely you'll hear your neighbors or they'll hear you. And we didn't stop with the room. We turned that same attention to detail to the bathroom. We took a look at the bathroom of the average ship and we knew we could do better. By angling the wall, we opened up more space in the bathroom. Then we took our newfound space and we made it luxurious. We have a large tile shower with glass doors, marble countertops, premium fixtures, L'Occitane bath amenities, and shelves to store all your necessities. And the best part is that there aren't just a couple of these staterooms on our ships, reserved for those who want to pay more. 80% of the staterooms on our suite ships are panorama suites. And once you leave your suite, you're likely to find fewer people on our suite ships. Because with our bigger staterooms, there is less capacity for passengers, which means more space everywhere you go. As you can see, more has gone into the amazing panorama suites, so you can get so much more out of them. We invite you to compare, and you'll see there's no comparison.
All right, I love that video because it really is a game changer, those rooms on Avalon. I want to show you what an Avalon room looks like compared to leading competitors' balcony or French balcony suite. The interior space is flex space. So you have 200 square feet in your room, and then you just slide this open and this area here becomes your balcony. It's absolutely a wonderful use of space. And that bathroom, look how big that bathroom is. It really is a game changer. And if you compare it to the leading competitor, it's kind of a tiny bathroom. So I think it's just the greatest innovation on river cruises because you don't have that much space. Your ship can only be so narrow because it has to fit through the locks, and it can only be so tall because it has to fit under the bridges. So this is really a game changer. We have cruised many times with Avalon and absolutely love the rooms. Here's a picture of our room the day we arrived in Budapest a couple of years ago. And you can see we didn't even have our curtains all the way open, but we had the window partly open. It really makes for great views. And that full-size bath, it is a game changer. You can look and see, I mean, Steve's a big guy. He says it's the best shower on all of cruising. So he really likes that shower. And if you are on a little bit more of a budget, the lower level rooms are a full 172 square feet with the fixed windows. So they're still very generously sized if you don't want to, if you need to be a little more budget friendly and not do one of the panorama suites. The ships are wonderfully laid out, and one of the things I like is leading competitor on the back of their ship, they have their 2 largest and most expensive suites. Well, not on Avalon. They have made that a public space. And you see these chairs here. They're facing the window. There's all kinds of chairs, and it is a full panoramic window on the back of that ship. This is a 24-hour snack and juice bar. You can, if you want to come back here with your friends and play card games or drinking games or whatever you want to do. This lounge is open for everybody to use. It's up on the 3rd floor and one of my favorite spaces on the back of the ship. And sometimes the best views are behind you. So sitting back there in that lounge, you can just take in the river from front. You can see where you've been. The panorama lounge is up on the front of the ship, and you can see floor to ceiling windows. It's completely open. There's a space up in front of here where you can go outside and see. But this is great if the weather's a little bit blustery. You can sit in here and the windows are all open and you can see the river and everything you're passing by. And they also have the entertainment, the bar, and even the Panorama Bistro is located in this area. A couple other things they've found space for is a gym. And there's Steve. You can see him running on the treadmill there. And there's a little bit of weights and some other things there, but they have a little gym on the ship. And then The main dining room is ample space for everybody. Everybody can go in there and have dinner, or you can have dinner up in the Panorama Bistro. Now, this is the Panorama Bistro when it's set up for snack time, but they also have light bites, and I'll go over that when I go over the food program, but I just want to continue going through the tour of the ship. I mentioned this a little bit when I was talking about the classic discovery and the active excursions during the itinerary presentation. Avalon offers you a choice, usually of at least two in almost every port, where you can do a classic or an active or a discovery. The classic tour of Budapest, I give this as an example. I know we're not going to Budapest, but it was highlights. And I kind of swapped out the stock pictures and put my own pictures here for what we saw there. But then a discovery tour, and this was one that we paid extra on this itinerary, was wine tasting. But almost all the tours that include wine tasting in the Bordeaux itinerary are included. So there's no extra charge to have that wine tasting experience in the Bordeaux itinerary. Here's an example of an active excursion. We climbed up Dürnstein Castle. So it's really nice that you're not kind of just doing everything cookie cutter with Avalon. They do give you some choices. And if you are a little bit more active, they do have those bicycle rides. They have bicycles on the ship that you can check out anytime. So those nights where we have tours in the morning and overnighting in the port, you can check out a bicycle and go for a ride on the bike path. It's perfectly, okay for you to do that. And dining choices. So there's a couple of different dining choices with Avalon. The main dining room, everyone pretty much eats between 7 and 8:30. They don't really stagger the dining. They have seating for everybody. But if you want something a little quieter, the Alfresco Grill is a great place. And they have the same food in the dining room. It's sort of like a little light bites. So if you wanted to try 3 different entrees, it's very small portions of those entrees. And they're plated in like a glass serving dish, and you can just go pick up what you want and then enjoy the same meals as what's in the main dining room. They also have service, and they also have alfresco sometimes, and they have this wonderful menu option called Avalon Fresh, which is fresh local ingredients in every meal. I'll give you it tends to be vegetable forward, but not necessarily vegetarian, although some of the dishes are. Here's some examples of what we had on our Danube River cruise. They do try to bring the regions of the world, so there will be French food on our cruise. There, I can assure you, they will have a lot of the local favorites on there. This was when we arrived in Bavaria. They did this wonderful Bavarian lunch. We did a cruise that was from Luxembourg through Germany. And what was the other country we visited on that one, Steve? I can't remember. Was it just Luxembourg and Germany? Switzerland. So we had a little bit of different tastes through of different regions. It's a wonderful way to experience different parts of the world on board your ship. And they have a happy hour. So this is great. Complimentary house wine, beers, drinks of the day. And their house wine is not like Franzia, out of a bucket. It is good locally sourced regional wines. When we were in where was that? Douro, on the Douro, they had a lot of great local Portuguese wines, which were very enjoyable to drink. It's usually an hour before the dining room. It's when the cruise manager is giving his or her presentation on what to expect for the next day. Now, again, we end in Bordeaux. It is a wonderful place to visit. Steve and I are going to extend our stay, and we're going to stay 2 more days in Bordeaux after the cruise. 3, and we actually even have already planned one of the chateaux. We've made an appointment. We're going to Chateau Le Sac and going to try their wonderful wines that we very much enjoy when we're traveling on cruises, because they almost seem to always have it in the specialty restaurants. So now, this is the best part, is our rates. I'm so excited to share this with you. Our rates, look at that. So we locked in these rates when Avalon was offering a free upgrade to a panorama suite. So these are our group prices. Very reasonable. $84.18. You get the P category, the top panorama suite. This is not per person. This pricing is total for 2 people in a cabin. So when you think about everything that's included, all your excursions, all your meals, all your wine with meals, all those tasting experiences, It is a very reasonable price for such a small, intimate ship. And then I have a chart. So we got to get you booked by May 4th because they're going to recall our inventory. If you were to go on the Avalon website and just book this cruise directly, instead of paying $84.18, you're going to pay over $11,000. So we want you to call us. We want to get you booked by May 4th so that you can get these incredible savings that we've locked in with our group rate. Plus, we have a webinar special. So whether you're here live with us or you're watching the recording, you're going to get an extra $50 per person off of that already low rate. It's an incredible offer. It's a wonderful way to see this region. And so I hope that you'll take us up and join us. It really is great pricing. And I'll go over it one more time before we finish, but I have a couple more slides I want to show you. First, I want to show you every place that Avalon Waterways goes in Europe. Hang on, I didn't mean to click that. They travel all the major rivers in Europe. So if Bordeaux is not your thing, give me a call. I can get you set up on another river, and you'll have those wonderful suite, those panoramic suite cabins, and all the wonderful things that are included with Avalon. Now, they do have an air program. It is, and of course, we're within 11 months of this cruise. So when I do your quote, I can actually add the air on it and do a quote for you with the booking, including air. They do have good contract air. You get to pick your routing and the price that works for you. So we work together when we're on the phone. We do other group cruises. So I always like to mention that whenever we do a presentation, so people don't think, oh, well, I was thinking of doing this, but you don't do that. We do everything. So I just wanted to go a couple of highlights of some other river cruises and ocean cruises that we're doing. Now, if you are interested in seeing more than just France, and you're a big wine lover, have I got a deal for you? So you take the Bordeaux cruise with us. You've got 4 days in between the Bordeaux cruise and this wonderful Alma Magna Gems of Southeast Europe cruise. So you would fly from Bordeaux to Budapest, and then take the second cruise, which goes on the lower Danube. We are going to have an Arizona winery that is winning all the awards here in Arizona and making really high quality wines. They're going to have their wine on board the ship and do wine tastings comparing the like Croatian and the Serbian wines, which are wonderful, by the way. It's such a great part of travel is to try wines from around the world. So you can do these two as back to back. And we recorded a webinar for this one on April 14th. So
and we're doing it back to back. So
yeah, we're doing it back to back. So we'd love to have you come and do both of these cruises with us. We kind of look at it as if you're flying over to Europe. Do you really just want to see and do one thing? It's really nice to be able to combine two things together since you're spending all that time on the flights to get over there and spend a couple weeks in Europe. In April, we are doing another Avalon romantic wine in Lucerne and Lake Como, and we're going to have a webinar for that on April 28th. So we invite you to join us for that one as well. We have a few cabins left. I just should mention this. You got to book by April 16th, which is today. So if you're interested in going to Iceland with us, give me a call right away. I'll get you booked on this Iceland cruise. We have a great discount pricing on that. If you are a little more adventurous and want to go someplace more exotic, we have 2 ways to send you to Antarctica in 2026. So in January, we have a celebrity cruise that does scenic sailing only in Antarctica. And that's what that top picture is. That is from the top deck of a celebrity ship sailing through Antarctica a couple of years ago. Wonderful experience. But if you're a little bit more adventurous, we are doing a group in February of 2026. And we're probably also going to have group pricing for February of 2027 with the same company, Aurora Expeditions. Fantastic expedition company, small ship, 100 passengers, really intimate, and you get out on Zodiacs right around in Antarctica and get to walk ashore, explore Antarctica. So it truly is that full immersive experience with them. So if you're interested in that, give me a call. We have a recorded webinar from January. I put this slide in here because we do a wine lovers cruise with Ascension Cellars almost every year, and we have already sold out our March of 2026 cruise. So
60 cabins.
yeah, we are maxed out. We're hoping to have another one available in 2027. We're working out the details with Eric. He's our wonderful winemaker with them. But the idea is don't wait to book these. If this is something you want to do, don't wait until we're sold out. Book it now. Make sure you've got your space reserved. Another great set of cruises that we are hosting back to back is an 8-night Greek Odyssey with Windstar. And it starts in Istanbul, wonderful World Heritage City, all kinds of amazing things to see there. Goes to so many Greek and Turkish islands and then ends in Athens. You can spend 4 days on Athens on land and then join us for this Azamara cruise. The nice thing about doing 2 different cruise companies and back-to-back cruises is that you're going to get different meals, different entertainment, a different experience. And both of these are small ship cruise line. Windstar has 300 people. Azamara has 750. Windstar is going to almost give you that river cruise experience at sea. And Azamara is going to give you a little bit more bells and whistles because it's a little bit bigger ship, but still that intimate feel. And Scandinavian capitals. So we're having a webinar on this tomorrow night. This is May of 2026. And I should mention that this one will tie into this one, which is the Globus Best of Norway, who is Avalon's land tour sister company. And if you really want to extend it, which some people are interested in doing, you can start with that Rhine and Lake Como. That's 5 different countries. And then you can go to all these Scandinavian capitals and then see lots of Norway. I think it ends up being like 12 different countries that you can see on these back-to-back river cruise, ocean cruise, and land tour experiences. So we do it all, and we even do it in a way that you can pair up all of these experiences together. We make it completely seamless, handle all of your flights, transfers, everything in between, make sure that, again, it's a completely seamless experience. So back to Bordeaux. We'd love for you to join us. We have these amazing prices that won't last much longer. We only have until May 4th to get you booked, locked in at these incredible savings. I mean, it's almost like a 30% savings. I mean, it's crazy how big our discount is. So we want to get you booked. Again, we're going to get you that additional $50 per person discount for any new Avalon Waterways. So if you wanted to book the Rhine or the Douro, something else, we can get you the extra 50 off any. Of course, we want you to join us for Bordeaux because it's such an incredible experience. So I put this slide up. This is one of my favorite areas. This is a fountain in Bordeaux that is like a reflecting pool. And when it fills up with water and it's calm, you see that beautiful historic building reflected in it. You can start to see it a little bit in that picture. But I just wanted to know, do we have any additional questions? Anything I maybe didn't cover in the presentation?
Well, I got one in the chat box. If you want.
Okay.
So Louise is not sure, but she's interested in knowing if these dates don't work for her, if you have other dates with the same itinerary.
Yes, we do. We do. Might not necessarily have the same big discount, but we'll get you the best available price. So Avalon offers this cruise like a whole season. So absolutely, if you're interested in going, but this date doesn't work for you, again, we'll get you the best available price that is available right now. So yeah, I'm happy to help you with that. And I believe they even have some available in 27 already. I'd have to double check that, but we can certainly look, or we could look at doing something in 26. 26 is probably what's available, not 27. I'm thinking too far ahead. All right, that was a great question. Any other questions?
If you do want to ask a question, you'll need to unmute yourself to ask a question.
Okay, well, I think I covered everything. So I try to be as thorough as I can in these presentations. So I'm going to just go on to the next slide. So this is how you get in touch with us. We are owners of CruiseOne Sholo. You can call our toll-free number. Email us if you want to have just some general information. You can also visit our website, and of course, visit our YouTube page, because we have so many of these types of informational webinar videos posted there. It's a great way for you to learn more about what we do and what companies we work with. Again, we always try to partner with the highest quality partners, like Celebrity, Holland America, Avalon Waterways, Globus, and make sure that our clients are having an extraordinary experience. So I want to thank you all for coming. It's been wonderful having you here. And if you're just tuning in to watch this, thank you so much for taking the time to watch our video. And I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.